find out what it costs to get Edwards.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Pass the Mic. Mike Passamonte here. My two gorgeous co-hosts to the right, Carl Graham, drink up, and Mr. JP from Hypothetical Sports. We got a lot to talk about. We usually, focus on football, but this week we'll give a little bit of football. We got the NBA draft tonight. You guys excited?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. A lot of stuff going down. If
One
anything,
of my favorite nights of the year.
To me, I don't see anybody in this draft that's going to make a difference, but, maybe I'm wrong. But this, sometimes you just get the luck of the draw. You get up there and it's top player. But this, I don't see one in here that's going to, be an instant star.
I really like 3, 4, maybe. I'm going to say, actually, I like 10 guys here. I think 3 or 4 could be really special. I think 10 guys could become special type players where I'm talking like
in the best drafts there ever was.
I really like this draft.
10 players that are great players.
I really like this draft. I think this draft could be because there's so many players who are like, I think that whoever gets a pick in the 20s.
The fact that you can't name a top player is, who's the top player?
Either Weissman
Edwards
or Ball.
Or Ball.
Or
Weissman.
no big players. Now, that might be because we didn't have a tournament this year. We didn't get to see a lot of the guys, step up and shine. But let's keep that on the back burner for a minute. We'll kind of get that later in the show. We'll do a lot of it, the NBA. Had a couple things happen. First of all, the Mets are spending money already. The Mets, in their front office, they are looking to build a program here.
At least
they are serious. Right? They're serious. Yeah, that's where I want to start. They saved $20 million today because Cano, for the second time, got caught using steroids. He's out for the entire season, so they're going to save somewhere around 24 million for this season. They still have to pay him like another 50 after that. So it's not like they save his whole contract, but they do save this season. He's not going to get any of that money. I think he's done as a Met. Finished as a Met. It just, we said it when he was hired, but we kind of wanted to give him a chance. Brody Van Wagenen couldn't have been a worse choice. Like, they couldn't have been a worse choice than him to be the GM. Everything he touched, forget about that trade. What about Jed Lowry, who never played? He had 8 plate appearances in 2 years.
Who?
Exactly. But, he was just awful as a GM. These guys, Sandy is a pro. He knows what he's doing. And now he's going to have money to spend. The first time he didn't. Now he's going to have money to spend. Talking about asking for Shapiro to come here. A couple other guys, Carl, you were mentioning. I think they're going to be, they're going to build this front office, and this is going to be the place to be. Free agents are going to want to come here. Guys are going to want to be traded here. Whether it's going to turn into wins, I don't think it's going to get worse. But, we'll see. Carl, what do you think?
Well, first, I got to say that this was the best thing that Cano did for the New York Mets. And I appreciate that. All the stupid moves they did to get him. And we were at first, who knows what would have happened. But he's old. He's horrible. He was getting injured. With all that money, that was a waste. This was the best thing he did. Thank you very much.
And the prospect that we gave up was amazing, too.
Yeah, so that was great. I think when they signed, Will Ponds got the GM, and it was just I think it was more for DeGrom. I think it was more to say, look, DeGrom, your agent, let's grab him, let's grab our.
Dude, DeGrom went nuts. He was so mad.
I know
that they hired the agent.
I know
because now he's got the guy that was advocating for him on the other side of the table. He went nuts, and now he left. Now he left the agency too.
Right,
he's not even with the agency.
But that's the reason why I think Will Ponds were stupid. They're gone, so we move on from there. And you know what? With all these free agents and stuff they got to do, I think the Mets are going to go out there. They're going to spend some money, and money's not an issue. So no matter what we owe Cano, what we owe, 60, 70 million, it don't matter. He's gone. He's never going to be in a Met uniform again.
I agree.
So it don't matter. The money's not an issue right now. It's great. I like what he did today. He tested positive. Congratulations. We won a championship today. We got new owner. We got to, he's back. We're gonna get a new GM. They're gonna spend money. Hey, I'm happy. And
Yeah,
all the Mets fans should. That's it.
He was kind of the only dead weight on the roster too. Lowry's gone. All these guys are gone. In the pen, you have a little dead weight, but they're not making this kind of money. So this really helps them. It doesn't hurt them. It helps them. I agree. JP, what do you think?
I'm going to make a little joke here. This is the first positive test that I'm happy about. Because you know what? Cano, I mean, good gosh. I love what he did to the Yankees. I think his whole career went downhill once he left New York and he came back to the Mets. I feel bad for the Mets because they got him at the back end when he was already washed up, in my opinion.
In everybody's opinion, yeah.
Yeah, I don't even think it's an opinion.
I mean, it's about the opinion I share with many other people. But it's funny because I laugh. I'm like, this would only happen to the Mets now. This wouldn't happen last year.
Good. Hold on.
This wouldn't happen last year. I know. I'm making a point. This wouldn't happen last year because when Wilpon was owning the team, they wouldn't want to help him save money and get some free up money because Wilpon wouldn't use it.
No, listen. This has happened to Wilpon before. He lost Cespedes for a year and a half. He lost David Wright for like 3 years.
You don't get the point I'm making here.
The problem is, I know the point you're making, which is you're just coming at it from the wrong way. This did happen to the Mets. They wouldn't have used that money. They would have just used that money.
That's what I was about to get to.
Yeah.
Now it's actually going to be useful money.
David Wright and Cespedes out for extended periods of time being paid by the insurance, and they still wouldn't replace that money.
Right.
And that's the point I'm making. Now the Mets actually have money they can spend. When the Mets need the money because they're going to use it, they finally get $21 million freed up.
Yeah.
Hallelujah.
I agree. I think it's a good.
Wait. What does that mean? Mr. McDonald, please explain.
I don't know. He's just trying to have a say name. Anyway. Yeah, I agree. I heard rumors today they might try to get Arenado from Colorado because he wants to leave. He's gonna look for $300 million. He's gonna look for Okay, that guy is quietly one of the best players in baseball. Top 2 or 3 players in baseball.
If he was playing in LA, you would be. If he was playing in New York, LA, or Chicago, I think he'd be a bigger name.
Betts, you get Harper. Betts deserves it, but Harper, you get all these guys that are thought of as Machado. This guy's better than all of them.
Yeah.
One of the best third basemen there ever was, fielding wise. And he hits as many home runs out of Colorado as he does in Colorado.
Right.
Oh, he was talking about your positive test.
Oh! I'm making a joke saying this in general for the first time all year. I'm happy about.
Right. He was not, Jim. He was not happy with that positive test.
No, I didn't have any others. I haven't had any others in a long time.
Are.
Got it. We got it.
None of us are. Let's go on.
Got it, JP. That's what happens when you sit outside Oyster Bay and watch people go in and out of the water.
Well,
anyway.
You know what? There's a lot of players that are going to want to jump ship and see what happens with the Mets because they, you know what? It's not because of the New York area. It's not because of any kind of issue with any other team. It's they know they will get paid. I think it is the New York area a little bit though. They see what happens with the Yankees and everyone. It wasn't a secret. Everyone knew that the Mets were the cheap, team that was just in the big market. That they were nowhere near what they could be, and now they have the money, and we'll see. But I think a lot of players are going to want to come here and start that. Yeah, Chris Bryant's going to be one too, but I like him as a player, but he gets injured a lot. He's another one that's such a big name. Compare his stats to Arenado. No, you can't. There's no comparison. And 9 times out of 10, people will say Bryant's a better player. They're out of their minds. I think he's a better player in the outfield because he don't do errors or he don't make mistakes. But he was so bad in the infield, they had to move him in the outfield. He was a third baseman. Yeah, that's what he was a third base. Then he went to shortstop. Then he went to the outfield. All right. Here's the reason why Arenado never moved off, because he's the best third baseman there ever was. Well, yeah. Fielding, I'm a big fan of him. He's got 8 gold gloves. Listen, he's a better player. All around better player than Bryant. I agree.
Everything.
I'm a big, but Brian's going to want to go off the Cubs too. He's ready to leave. He was ready to leave last year.
I know. All right. Let's move on to the NFL quickly.
Can I clarify one thing before we do that? I haven't had any positive tests. I was being invited with COVID in general.
JP.
Just clarifying the air.
Way to get the joke, JP.
I know. I was just clarifying the air.
We all believe you. You've never gotten gonorrhea. I agree.
Me neither.
All right. So it's so crazy. The Jets are so terrible this year. They had their problems in the clubhouse, but look at the Giants. Look at the Giants who finally start playing well. Their offensive line finally starts playing well. Gallman went off last week.
Yeah.
Finally starts playing as a unit, and what do? They fire the offensive line.
Because there's a fight.
Okay. Yes. There wasn't a fist fight. It was a screaming match.
A verbal fight.
Yeah. Why? Because Joe Judge went behind everyone's back and brought in a guy who is an offensive line guru or whatever, an offensive line coach, told the guy, I forget what his name is, DiGuillermo or whatever his name is. Yeah. That he's bringing his guy in for the offensive line to work with him, and he went nuts.
Bill Belichick move.
Yeah.
Anything to do just to try to win and bring his guys in. And Garrett will be next, no matter what happens.
Well, this was Garrett's guy.
Yeah.
This was Garrett's guy. He brought him from Dallas. That would be a good thing. Maybe this is a way of doing it. That would be a good thing because Garrett is terrible. He's terrible. And how about Daniel Jones? He has per rush. He has one of the highest yards per rush for a quarterback this year.
Yeah.
And most of it's against the Eagles.
Yeah, both of them, right? Both of them?
Well, he ran the first one, he looked like he got shot in the back and he fell down.
Yeah.
And he didn't score the touchdown. This week was, what is it, like a 30, 40-yard touchdown?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, and then he had another one, but it was holding call.
Well, that don't count.
But I'm just saying, he runs. He can run. He can play. He can pot. He can throw a pot. If they can get the offensive line to work a little bit better than it did over the weekend and everybody come back healthy, maybe I'm wrong with Jones. Maybe
I think you're wrong with Jones. Yeah, I told you last week, it's the offensive coach. It's Garrett. I don't think it's Jones. I would not give up on Jones yet.
Nope, they got a couple of years yet. They got 2 years yet. Yeah,
I would at least give him one more. If he's awful next year, then I would get rid of him.
I agree.
So, speaking of quarterbacks, Carl, your guy went off this week. Kyler Murray. That was just insane. I watched the whole thing, the whole ending drive, and that was just nuts. Buffalo comes all the way down, scores a touchdown with, I think, 24 seconds left.
Yeah.
They get the ball to about, 45-yard line?
45-yard line.
45-yard line with like 7 seconds left on the clock. Murray almost gets sacked. Gets out of the sack, rolling to his left, throws a Hail Mary, and Hopkins comes down with the ball. And no one even touched the ball. It's not like it was battered. He just went up, grabbed it, and won the game. Insane.
Yeah. And Diggs, which is leading most of the wide receivers in every category, he said he thought that was it. He caught that last touchdown. He thought he was the one that finished the game.
He's leading what wide receivers? Not all
receptions. He's leading a lot
in the NFL.
What?
In the NFL or Buffalo?
Yeah, no, in NFL.
Diggs? Hopkins.
Diggs is one of the topper wide receivers, reception wise and everything. He's in the high categories, and what he said was he thought he had the touchdown. He said it was over. The number one wide receiver on the field had it. And then all he knew was Murray and Hopkins. And Hopkins says, "I still be number one, no matter what you think, buddy."
Is that what happened?
Yeah. And what I think is Arizona needs an offensive line. They need to help Murray out here.
They need a defense too.
Oh yeah, but Murray could do it. They need an offensive line to help Murray. They need to give Murray some time. He's a short guy.
They need a defense.
It was awesome. It was awesome. They did it, but I don't think they're gonna win this week tomorrow.
No, who do they have? Tomorrow is
at Seattle.
I think they're going to win that. Seattle.
That's going to be a good game.
If Seattle loses 3 games in a row, forget it.
That's going to be a really good game because I think Seattle. You're right. Seattle's got everything to lose in this one. Arizona has nothing to lose. They're playing better than expected, and in reality, they're not. I'd consider them the favorite in this one over Seattle. In Seattle, I'd consider Arizona the favorite in this game over Seattle. In Seattle, in my opinion.
I don't think that means anything because they don't have any fans.
No defense. That's what I mean by it. Just matchup wise, Arizona is I think the better team, and that's rare because Seattle usually plays good even in general. They just have been playing good defending their field this year.
Right. I'm trying to find out what the spread is on that game. Hold on.
And my phone is buzzing off the hook with NBA stuff right now. It's hilarious.
What I think with Arizona,
Seahawks by 2, 3.
The Seahawks favorite?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's going to be very, very rare for Seahawks to lose 3 in a row. It was a big talk about Wilson this week, about MVP here. Now all of a sudden, the last couple of weeks, and he had a little statement, and he said he still considered himself one of the better quarterbacks, and he has to go out there and work. It's a 24-hour game, and day in a day.
He has no time to throw the ball. None.
You know what I really think? I really think he don't have Carson. He don't have a proper running back there to do anything.
No. For years, they didn't have a running back.
They couldn't run it.
They didn't have a running back for like 4 years, and he carried the team. It's the offensive line. The offensive line gives him no time to throw the ball.
I mean, he was perfectly fine the first 4 weeks. Carson went down. He can't do anything.
I don't think that's it.
Well, we're going to find out tomorrow.
Absolutely. All right, so any surprises this week? How about Jacksonville hanging with Green Bay?
I'm not shocked. I'm not.
Everyone keeps saying that they're going to get the number 1 pick, that their schedule's easier or harder. Listen, they're not in the same league as the Jets. They are not in the same league as the Jets. Jets go out there and just get embarrassed every single game. Every single game. Even the one they almost win, they get embarrassed.
Yeah. They're not.
Jacksonville competes. Jacksonville's in these games.
And I think Jacksonville covers the spread a lot, too. They're always in the game.
Yeah.
They got their running back. They got their running back for the future, their rookie. And, they need that quarterback. And I just think that they're on the way to another level. You're right. They're not in the same league as the Jets. The Jets is in no league. You can't even consider them part of the NFL right now.
Right.
But Jacksonville and Green Bay, I'm not surprised about that. I'm not surprised either about that.
So speaking of this game tomorrow night, we got 3 teams now at 6-3 in that division.
Yeah.
JP, your Super Bowl pick isn't looking too bad right now. The Rams.
I don't have them winning it anymore. Remember, I have them in the NFC Championship game now. I upgraded it to the Saints. I upgraded it around. I moved it around. I mean, I'm gonna move them back to it because of the Saints injury Breeze. I'm going to move them back to winning.
That's a perfect segue. Saints, top team in the league in the NFC right now, right? We got to put them there. They beat.
They might be gone the rest of the year.
Let me get to that. So, I don't think that's true though. They're cruising, the past 2 weeks, and all of a sudden, I mean, they weren't cruising in that game, but all of a sudden, Breeze comes out of the game at halftime. They go in at halftime, they come out, and Winston is the quarterback. Had no idea what happened. All you heard was a rib injury. Well, it turned out cracked ribs on both sides and a collapsed lung. Collapsed lung. That's pretty freaking serious. That's pretty freaking serious. I mean, so he's out now for at least a couple weeks. He's trying to get back on the field. We won't see him before the playoffs. There's no reason to see him before the playoffs. First of all, how do the Saints play? They're 7-2 right now. They lost to the Packers, right? So they're in second place. They're number 2 in the conference. How do they do the rest of the way? Do they win their division?
Yeah. Yeah. Winston's not a bad backup. They have a team around him. And you know what? I'm going to tell you this right now. As I seen Breeze play the last couple of weeks, I don't think Breeze has that strong arm like he used to.
I agree with you.
You know, he's dishing it out to the potential MVP Kamara. Kamara's running wild all over the field.
It's so many dump off passes.
Yeah, Winston has an arm. Winston's running around. I think you're going to see a little bit more downfield play with Winston. Hopefully, it's not like interception touchdown ratio like he did last year. But don't put it past Winston.
That's what I was going to get to. What team is he going to throw to? You know, Winston is the guy, 400 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, 4 interceptions.
Right.
They got to, I think, I don't know if you can reel him in because it's mentally like he just makes mental mistakes. I don't know if you can reel him in, but I do think they're going to put up a lot more points.
I agree. I don't think Breeze's arms is as good as it was last 4, 5, 6 years like it was. Dump offs. Look at what Kamara's doing. The guy is rushing, guy's scoring, he's catching. He's the team.
He is that team.
They need to switch things up. They need to switch things up, and they can still win.
So, do they win the division? They're 7-2, Tampa's 7-3, but New Orleans has the tiebreak.
I'm not fully convinced that I think they have the best position, but I have no confidence in Winston. I couldn't be shocked if they lose out with Winston.
Well, that's a bit much.
But you get what I'm saying. I wouldn't be shocked if they lose the majority of their games the rest of the year with Winston. I have no confidence in him.
Yeah, that's a bit much. That's put it this way. Last year, Teddy Bridgewater steps in 5-0.
Yeah.
5-0. They
I think they're different. I think Bridgewater's a way better quarterback than Winston.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
I think the problem is with Winston. I think this is going to be a bigger test for Sean Payton than it is him, because I think Payton's going to prove if he's really the quarterback wizard. If he could do a Jesus act for Winston's career.
He's not the quarterback wizard.
You know what I'm saying? Everyone's saying he would be. I mean, they're saying he brought back Bridgewater from the dead. I mean, could he do a Jesus act?
Look at Bridgewater now. Look at Bridgewater now.
One of the better quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Better quarterbacks. It was the injury that caused him. He was great in college. He was great in Minnesota. But you
get what I'm saying, though, right?
What's that?
About Bridgewater, I mean, how he brought him back and made him someone that teams want to take a chance on for starting.
What we're saying is that didn't happen. Bridgewater was good anyway.
Yeah, he was good anyway.
But with Winston, I think he's going to have to do Jesus act with.
Yeah, I don't. Well, no, we're kind of saying the same thing maybe. Peyton is not a genius guy with quarterbacks. He's not. He likes to think he is. I know. He messes up more plays than he gets right. Those trick plays he pulls, but whatever. I'm not a fan. Winston, I think, will be, I say the rest of the way, they got 7 games left. I say they go 12-4. 11-6. 11-5.
I'll go 10-6. Let's be conservative here. 10-6.
No, first of all, you don't even know what their schedule is. You don't know who they're playing.
I'm just going to say, I think they win 3, they lose 4. I'd take them winning 3, losing 4.
Stop repeating your point. I know. I got your point. I did the math. They already played Tampa Bay. So that's out of the way. They already played them twice. Their schedule might not be that difficult.
Twice?
The Falcons.
Twice?
The 3-win Falcons. Who you said should tank the season.
Here we go.
I'm agreeing. Okay, I'm gonna eat my words. Let me eat.
Atlanta,
yeah.
Denver, Atlanta, Philly. Come on.
Yeah.
They wouldn't.
Kansas City, Minnesota.
Hold on, that's 3. That's 3 wins right there.
Yeah.
You got Kansas City. You got Minnesota.
Okay.
You got Minnesota and Kansas City. The rest should they win. Philadelphia, Denver, and 2 Atlanta. That should be 4 wins.
All right, I'll give them 4 wins. All right, I'll be conservative.
That's what I said. 11-5.
I'll give you 11-5. All right.
What's Tampa Bay?
Tampa Bay is 7-3 right now.
So if Tampa Bay loses 2 more, and they go 11-5.
Ooh, and they may lose 2 more.
Who, Tampa Bay?
Oh, they definitely could lose the next 2.
Who are they playing?
Rams and Chiefs back to back.
Yeah, they could lose.
I don't know.
They got the Rams next on Monday night, and then the Chiefs on Sunday.
Yeah, I don't know. They step up for these games. I don't know.
But you only see the races is you get none after that. Everyone they play is under 500 right now. The rest of the way after those 2 games, so they're in the clear.
The problem is they have to be a game ahead of the Saints.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. I know it's only halfway through the show, but we're going to start it early, and it's going to go through the rest of the show because it is NBA draft night. So here's what that means.
I'll be right back.
And here we go.
JP, take it over, JP.
So tonight's the NBA draft, and it's funny. I'm actually logging into my Twitter on my computer as we're talking here because my phone's been buzzing the last 2 minutes with just trades. There's actually been 3 trades since we've been on the air.
Okay.
The Rockets traded Trevor Reason, the 16th pick, to Detroit for future considerations, and they also bought Detroit's second-round pick tonight.
So
and
they
also
dumped salary. That's what that was.
Yeah. And I'm going to pull the other one up on my phone. And hold on one second. What was the third one? The third one was the Thunder possibly right now are discussing a trade to move up to the Timberwolves' second pick tonight, which is, I forget where, I think it's 17. So discussing trades right now. And the Pistons now own the 7th and 16th pick. So a lot of stuff is going on right now.
All right. We talked a little bit about it. Who do you think is going number 1? Who do you think should go number 1? We talked off the air before we went on, JP. You had some news that the Knicks were trying to get how high?
They were trying to get number 1 today. That was early this morning. They were working their way up to 1. And here's what I heard what the asking price was for Minnesota. This has been the same. Was they want a player and the ability to stay in top 5. They want a player in the deal that could start, a starter, and the ability to remain in the top 5 picks. And the Knicks were talking with the Warriors about Wiggins, about trying to put a 3-way deal to get Wiggins to Minnesota, back to Minnesota with the pick. Because the Timberwolves, I heard, love Toppin. And this is like the worst kept secret. They want out of that number 1 spot because they may take Toppin. And they know they don't want to take the heat of taking Obi Toppin number 1. Because
Toppin is from where?
The Dayton kid who won the Wooden Award.
Dayton, yeah.
Like, there are NBA scouts who saw this guy. Like, I could tell you, I talked to college coaches with my job. I texted a couple coaches that have seen this guy play in person, who've actually scouted Dayton. Dayton's played some of their opponents. They all said to me, this kid is for real. Where if he was playing at Kentucky or at Duke or at North Carolina, he would be probably the number 3 guy on the board. He'd probably be ahead of Ball. But because he played at Dayton, he's not as respected. And he's ranked pretty high.
Where's he slated to go right now?
Matter by who you talk to, 5 to 6.
Yeah, I hear it's number 5 to the Cavs.
But there are a lot of teams love him. Like, he's very likable. New York guy too from Austin.
I hear 2 things going on right now, and I'm following it. And I think the one team is actually going to move up. Boston Celtics. Boston Celtics is pushing up because they got their draft pick. They're pushing up to try to get number 2 pick also, and throwing a package deal with the draft picks and Smart.
Now, who are they looking to get?
They want that center, that James kid out of Memphis.
Oh, everybody wants him.
It's so funny that there's like 7 guys that we're mentioning for the top 2 picks.
James, it's Golden State keeps the second pick. James, the center from Memphis, is going to Golden State, without a doubt. But
and I agree with you but also there's other guys too who Boston may be looking at because they're trying to trade Gordon Hayward at the same time. They're trying to do three things at once, which is trade Gordon Hayward, unload his $35 million, get a pick, and try to use that as capital to move up. They also own, I think they own 2 picks tonight. So they're trying to. Yeah, the Celtics I heard own multiple picks tonight, so they're trying to just move around.
Yeah, but I mean, 26 and 30.
They want to keep those because they like the back end of the draft. A lot of people like this back end of the draft because there could be tons of guys who.
Oh no, they have 14 also.
Yeah,
they have three first-round picks.
They're trying to move 14 and another pick up and get up. They're trying to find another pick to move up with on top of 14. They were talking with Atlanta.
The Knicks now have number 8 and they have number 23. They got from Utah. And they were trying to get up. I heard they were trying to get to number 5.
They were looking at 1 this morning. They were trying to get up to 1 because the Warriors want to stay in the top 10 because they don't want to take White. They really like the kid from USC. I can tell you there are a lot of people that love that kid from USC because he is the big guy from USC. This kid actually played on the same high school team as Lonzo and LaMelo. They played together. They were freshmen.
What is that? What is that? The Akawaka guy kid?
Yes. I'm not going to try to pronounce it because I'm not going to try to botch it because I know I won't make it right.
Yeah,
but
Owaka.
Yeah. Like, and he's been like, everyone's been raving about him. Like, he reminds me of an old-fashioned center. Like, I would say he just reminds me of like somebody, a throwback from the 90s and 80s center type guy.
Right.
Like a good old, like, I'm just going to swat it all day type of player.
I just heard that the Knicks are in talks with the 8th and the 23rd pick to give them to the Warriors.
They've been talking about trying to get him to 1. They're trying to get them.
That's what. Well, no, you said they were talking to the Warriors though about the 2, right?
Yeah,
they're trying to get up to 1.
Why? For Edwards?
They were talking. A lot of people in New York. The Knicks really like Edwards.
They want Ball.
I can tell you, Ball. I can tell you, nobody wants Ball other than Jordan.
Except Michael Jordan.
Like, here, the reason why is the problem is with Ball. He's considered damaged goods. He's considered damaged goods. And a lot of coaches will say that. I don't know. This kid could be great, but the problem is the father may have ruined him. And they're worried about
his secret.
His psychology. They're worried about his psychology.
We know that. Unagi.
It's the worst kept secret. It's the worst kept secret.
The whole issue with Ball is his father talks, and his father always said, this one will be better than Jordan. This will be better than Jordan. Well, Jordan's going to draft him. Jordan's going to draft him at number 5, I think, and we're going to see. Jordan's going to see what goes on.
Jordan is at number 3, right?
Well, that's where he's going to go. Number 3.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying to people. Like, there's also a guy we got to talk about, the kid from Iowa State, Halliburton, who I love. I love that kid. Like, I love him. Like, there are very few people I love. I think he's going to be I think he's probably a steal. And the Knicks might get him if they stay at 8. That's the guy everyone thinks the Knicks are going to get.
Yeah, that's the one I heard.
And I love him. I think he'd be great. But they want the Knicks thing, and everyone thinks that the Knicks and Edwards would be scary with RJ because he would give something. He would allow Barrett to kind of be less physical and let Edwards be the physicality.
You can't get less physical than Barrett was last year.
But they want, because one thing that Edwards is a physical player. He's like a football player,
right? In
basketball, in a basketball uniform. He plays with that physicality.
He actually is a football player. But yeah, that's got Barrett isn't a physical player.
That's the point. They want Edwards to be the physicality and Barrett to be the finesse. That's what they want. They want to build a combo of physicality and finesse in New York because they really view the Knicks. I can tell you this: the Knicks think they could. The Knicks think they could turn around next year and make the playoffs. They really think that they are one. They think that Edwards and Barrett could get them in the 8th spot next year. They think they could sneak in. And remember, they do own some draft picks.
Every single year. They've said
remember that. They do own some draft picks next year. They do have some capital to move around the next few years.
They have it this year.
And they have more picks coming. Like they still have all the picks from Porzingis to use. So I really think with the Knicks, I think they're thinking to themselves right now, if we could get to the number 1 spot, and this is what scared me as a Celtics fan, is I think the Knicks might become legitimate in the next year. With Robinson, if they get Edwards, that team is going to be definitely 2 years from now scary.
Carl, go ahead. Carl, go ahead.
You're talking about the Knicks.
I know.
You
You got to comprehend this.
No,
if they
you
get
gotta
Edwards, if they get
comprehend
Finagle the number one,
you got to understand. The Mets and the Knicks had the same problem. The Mets got rid of their problem.
The owner.
The Knicks have an owner that is the same way. He don't care. It doesn't matter. He's making.
Oh, he cares.
He cares about his money.
He cares so much that he micromanages and overmanages the team.
Right.
I think that's why I'm saying I think if the Knicks can somehow finagle their way to number one, they somehow finagle their way to get that number one.
There's no number one player here.
I'm just saying they do that.
5 different ones.
I know,
be
but
number
they
one.
do that.
None of those players are going to make them a winner next year.
But if you do that and get Edwards, who I think would be the best fit for the Knicks, who I know a lot of people say would be the best fit, would be to get him because of how he would.
I think if they got who are the top 3 players?
Weissman wouldn't fit in New York because you have Robinson.
If they got all 3 of those players, they wouldn't be a playoff team next year. All 3 of them wouldn't be a playoff team.
I agree, but you're saying who knows what these players would do?
With RJ, no.
I tell you,
they'd be better. They'd get the 8th seed in the East.
If James goes to Golden State,
that's a good reaction, Jamie.
That would be a complete package.
I gave you that look. That's the look I give the people.
What did you say?
If James goes to Golden State because he's a good center, that will complete Golden State's package with their team.
Oh yeah,
right.
They're done. That's it.
But I don't think Golden State's keeping that. I mean, the one thing I've been told is that the Warriors want to get another pick tonight, and they want to stay in the lottery. They don't want Weissman. They want to trade Weissman away and use him as collateral to get something else.
You had news that Klay Thompson got hurt again, right?
Yeah, he tore his leg.
You guys
know what you're saying?
Yeah, that could change the draft right there.
And that's why I'm saying I wouldn't be shocked if I'm the Warriors, I call Minnesota and say, what would it cost? But they do have Wiggins, so I'm not really convinced that would be that big of a deal because you do have Wiggins who can play the position.
But I think if we'll see what happens and how serious they really think.
But you might move back.
Right.
If anything,
get draft picks.
Yeah, you might try to move back and get that kid Okoro. And the kid from Auburn, Isaac Okoro, who I love. He's another one I love. Like, there are not many players in this draft I love. He's one of them because I think he's going to develop with the right coach because I think that guy's untapped potential. He's raw. Like another year of college, I think he's the number one pick next year. Another year in college, he's a potential number one.
There's quite a few. There's a couple of good players, but I wouldn't be surprised the Warriors because of this injury. Who knows how extent it is? You see, right away they'll know. Yeah, I don't.
LaMelo's putting up the number 2 signal. He might be going. I think he's going second tonight. He's thinking he's going second tonight.
Who?
Ball. He's thinking he's going second tonight.
Then he's going to another team. He ain't going to Warriors.
That's why here's the thing with the Warriors, and I find this fascinating, is they're in a position where I think they realize one thing here. You're at a point where the next 2 years you're going to have to rebuild this team. Draymond Green's going to be near 33. In 2 years from now, I believe he'll be 32 or 33.
Yeah.
Klay Thompson may not come back from this. If it's bad, he may be never the same. Curry's not getting any younger. Steph's not getting any younger. He'll be 34 in a few years. Down the road, he'll be 34, I think, in the next 2 or 3 years. So
in the next 2 or 3 years, he'll be 34.
But I mean by is he's not getting any younger. Like he's at the point where he's kind of over he's going to be close to
the dynasty is on the downturn. Yes.
You're going to have to rebuild this team. And the one thing I look at is this the piece you use to get players in, or do you decide to get the building block to rebuild the team around Wiggins and said player, which may be Ball. I mean, personally, I think that would be a great landing spot for him because he would be around a veteran. That would be a place where I think he would learn maturity. That's the one thing.
Here's the one thing you could say about them. They know how to draft. I mean, what was
It's also maturity.
Where did he go in the draft, Steph? 7?
8? Yeah, he was the Knicks. The Knicks could have had him.
Knicks could have had him. He went like 7 or 8. Draymond Green went in the second round, right?
Yep.
Thompson
first
was the
round.
mid-first.
Late in the first round.
No, he went second round. He was a second round pick, Draymond.
What about Clay?
Clay was mid-first.
First.
Yeah, but none of them were up top.
Like,
No.
here's the thing with
None
the
of them
Warriors.
were up top. They know how to draft.
But
One
Steve
thing
Kerr wasn't the one that drafted him.
No,
Agreed.
Kerr wasn't
Sure.
even in the organization yet when they got him. It was Mark
Nope.
Jackson's team.
That's right. It was Mark.
But
even
who was,
then-
who was the GM? Who was in charge of the
The
players?
guy,
then?
I forget who it was.
But Kerr's not the GM, is he?
No, he's the coach.
No, so the guy's probably still there that drafted him.
But it's interesting to get back to the Warriors for a minute here. The reason
Yeah,
why they're so
Warriors.
good at finding players like Pascal, because they're able to make, like, when you go to the Warriors, it's like going to like New England. Maturity wise, like the maturity thing about there, like when you step into one of these places where you're expected to win, where if you're a young guy, where you're expected to kind of be more mature.
No, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Like, that's the thing with Ball. This would be a great place for him to go because he would have 2 guys around him, 3 guys around him who would actually show him how to be an NBA player, and we get the most out of him by showing him, you know what, you can do all this, but at the same time, you got to put in the work. Like, that's the thing Ball's got to learn. And this is what basketball people, like, I know people who've seen this kid from AAU and have said to me the one problem he's had since AAU has been he is like the idea of this. It's an interesting idea for a guy who comes from a sports family. You'd think that he would, like, it's not the hype that gets to him. It's more of the fact that he's never had anybody show him how to do it. They've told him what to do, but nobody's ever shown him how to do it. Like, they said to him, you're going to be this, you're going to be that, but nobody's ever shown him how to do it. He's never had that experience around him, veteran players. Because remember, he didn't even complete high school. Like,
Yeah, but he went and played pro in another country. I
and then
mean,
came back and played prep ball in the United States on a team that basically he was a superstar on.
no,
Like, it
I
was
get
him.
that, but
He's
to say
never
that
had,
he's never
They said
he's been in the basketball
by
family
this ball is
forever.
but
better.
consistency. What I mean by,
They said this one right here is better than his brother.
Yeah.
And they said, yeah.
but
you know,
but there's
so
a difference
you know
on that.
how
What I
it's
mean
done.
by that is, it's like consistency of, like, he's never had consistency. Somebody where it could sit him down and show him, okay, this is like he's
Yeah,
always
but
been
that,
around.
hold on. That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter.
It does.
You have these kids. How many kids come out one and done where they
I'm
play
not
for
talking like
Calipari?
that. I'm not talking like that.
That's what
I'm
I'm asking.
talking about like that.
How many kids go to a school and don't even stay in the school for more than one semester with the coach, and then
I'm
they're
not even
out?
talking about
They don't-
college.
It has nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
Like, it's not. It's more like the fact that he didn't have the ability for somebody other than his father to develop him and sit him down.
I
and, like,
agree with that. The
That's
fact
what I'm
that his
meaning by it.
father is definitely overbearing, and his father
what I'm
is
meaning by it.
interfering, all that. But that doesn't mean that
He's
hasn't
never had outside people
You don't know
that
that.
actually show
You don't
him.
know that. You don't know that. You don't know who's coached him. You don't know who. You know, he went to a professional league in another country.
And
NBA
his father was
drafts
running
guy.
the show. Like,
His
they
father,
made a
his father
documentary.
always runs the show, but that doesn't mean he doesn't have coaches.
And when he went to New Zealand, you know what happened in New Zealand? When he
I
went
have
down
no
to
idea.
Australia, the league was paying his salary. And the league told the team down in New Zealand, you have to play him. There was talked about earlier today on the radio. I heard it on one of the shows. They were talking on the NBA shows today. They were talking about this. How he's basically never been able to be challenged. Because when he went down to New Zealand, the league bought him. They paid his salary, not the team from New Zealand. It was the league paying his salary. The league was the one telling him what to do with him. Like,
Okay.
this is the kid who has never been challenged. That's what I mean by that. He's never been challenged to the point of he's been told that you're going to be able to do this, this, and this, but nobody's ever shown him how to do it and challenge him.
Yeah, but I don't think that. I think
It
that
matters.
definitely matters, but
It
I don't
matters.
think you could. Yeah, but I don't think it matters in the sense that you know whether that's going to be a good or bad thing. You just don't know how he's reacted to it yet. You don't know if he reacts well to that or he doesn't. You have no idea.
I agree, but it's a red flag that comes up to a lot of, like, where a lot of people, for
That's
example,
what they said about one and done guys. They were red flags.
but the difference with the one and done, there's a big difference. The one and done is a big difference.
Go ahead.
The difference in the one and dones is this. These guys are already ready to play. Like, you know what you're getting. They're ready to go. They're ready to take the next step.
That's not true. That doesn't always.
They're not
happen.
always
Doesn't even
getting out like
doesn't
this.
even mostly happen. Doesn't even mostly
But
happen.
they're
when
ready.
guys are one and done.
They're physically
ready.
ready. They may not have everything mentally.
How are they? How are they
A lot of
physically
times they're
ready?
physically ready mean by they can do the conditioning. They can take like the idea mentally. There's a lot of the biggest thing for the college guys when they come to the NBA is not the physical part because they can do the physical. The mental part of learning, like a lot of the reason why these one and done guys take to the second or third year some cases, unless they're like Zion, like somebody who's special, is the mental side of how do I like.
So you're agreeing with me. You're agreeing with me.
I'm agreeing with you, but physically they can do it. I am agreeing with you, but what I'm saying is,
remember when we had
no,
that?
it's not a full
Big
circle. I'm trying to explain to you like why.
No, you said the one and dones are different. They're ready to play.
Way different than ball.
Hold on. Stop. Just stop talking. Just listen for a second. Because you're honestly saying two totally different points. Totally different points. You said that the one and dones are ready, and that's why they're different. And then you said it takes them 2 or 3 years to get ready, which that's right. They don't come in ready. Usually, unless you're Zion. They don't come in ready. That's what this is. This is a kid that you don't know how he's going to react. It could be good, could be bad. Yeah. But they said that for years about the one and dones too. That they, don't draft them because they're not ready yet. Sometimes they are.
I'm going to disagree on everything, though. I think this kid right here, this ball, he's better than his brother, and I think it's going to be like a Curry move. Going to have both brothers in there, and this kid's going to be really good. I just have a feeling this kid's going to, with the right team. If Jordan grabs him, you could just throw him to the curb. Because Jordan don't care. But if you got a coach,
I thought you were going to say that was the right team.
If Warriors grab him or Minnesota grabs him, you may see something very special with this kid.
He goes to Minnesota, that's a mess. Like it would be worse than going to Charlotte because Minnesota's a mess. Nobody wants to play in Minnesota right now.
And LeVar Ball does not want him in Minnesota. There's no way he wants him in a small market like that. No way.
But here's what I'm going to say about Ball, and this is my biggest concern, is that I don't think he is ready to play in the NBA. I think he's a great YouTube. He's great with highlights. He looks great, but
I think you're right.
There are tons of D3 players that look great in highlights too. There are tons of D2 players that are great in highlights too. But the problem is, I don't know if this guy is ready. I think he might have been better off playing another 2 years abroad. Maybe going to Europe instead of Australia. Maybe playing in the European leagues like with Real Madrid or Maccabi Tel Aviv, playing for one of these top teams in Europe, and actually being played against grown men, not against down in Australia with their grown men.
Hold on. That only matters if he doesn't get drafted high. The goal is to get drafted.
Right.
It is.
Then you become the player you're going to become. If he was going to become that player,
he's getting drafted. He's getting drafted in the top 4.
Right. If he was going to become that player in Europe, he'll become that player here. Like you said, no better place to learn than here. Like I said, I don't see a big play. And it's obvious that there's no big players in this draft because you guys are giving me for the top 3 picks about 10 different guys that could go there. Nobody knows who's going to go. If they're a good – when has that ever happened? There was that one year. Was it Wiggins that Cleveland drafted?
No, Wiggins was the guarantee. That was another guarantee. That was one of those.
Who was the guy before him where they had the number 1 pick 2 years in a row, and the
Anthony
guy was
Bennett.
Bust. Anthony Bennett. That's it.
But here's the thing with Arizona. We all knew.
Was he Arizona?
UNLV. We all knew he was a bust.
I think
UNLV.
Yeah, UNLV.
He was a UNLV guy.
But where'd he go?
Yeah, the Cavs. That's what I'm saying. Cleveland.
Yeah.
Do you know what the problem with Bennett was?
What was it? Wiggins and then him, or was it Irvin?
It was him, then Wiggins.
Him, then Wiggins. The problem with Bennett was he was too fat.
Irvin was already on the team.
Problem with Bennett was he was way too fat.
Whatever. That year, it was like this year, where there was no real clear number 1. There was no real clear good player. And I don't know if anyone really came out of that draft.
Unless it's traded, it's Edwards or Ball. I mean, one of those two are going to be number 1. Most likely, it's going to be Edwards.
Well, what about this kid? He said Minnesota wanted.
Toppin?
Yeah, from.
He's going to move down. Don't move down.
What about the Memphis kid? What about the Iowa State kid?
They're not going to go.
The Iowa State kid's not number 1. Here's the thing: he's not a number 1.
Where's the Israeli kid?
3 number 1s.
Australian always goes to Dallas.
No, where's the Israeli?
Yeah,
Israeli. He's good. Don't get me wrong. But he is not a number. It's very hard for me to see him going number 1. He's not a number 1.
2, 3.
He's good enough to be in the top 3, but he's not a number 1. In my opinion, he's not the number 1. In my opinion, there are 3 number 1s, and then the rest are flip a coin based off fit. The rest of them are based off fit. Where some of these guys, it might wind up that Wiseman goes 5 because of the fact that somebody trades up to get him because of fit.
So let's talk about trades then. Oklahoma City looking to get rid of Westbrook. Houston.
They already got rid of Westbrook. They're looking to get rid of everything else. They're looking to get rid of Steve Adden, the big guy, next.
Where did Westbrook go?
He's been in Houston the last year.
Houston. I said Oklahoma City. Houston. Houston's looking to get rid of Westbrook and maybe Harden.
They say no now.
I know. What do you think?
I think see, this is what I'm thinking about this whole thing. And you know what? The NBA, if you look at the NBA prior to COVID, of course, COVID screws up everybody and everything.
Right.
NBA always had time to do everything. NBA has the draft tonight, 2 days for free agent, and the 10 days to start the season, to start the pre-thing. So they got to sign everybody. They got to do everything.
If I may interrupt for 1 second, Carl.
Go ahead.
Good.
In that draft that Bennett got drafted, the best player was the 15th overall pick.
Go ahead.
His name is Giannis Antetokounmpo.
There you go.
And the number 2 pick.
Anybody else make it?
And the number 2 pick, Oladipo.
Yeah,
ended up being
Oladipo's
number 2.
there.
The 3rd pick is a guy named Otto Porter. He's still pretty good. He never panned out to what everyone thought he'd be. And Rudy Gobert was 27.
He's good.
He's good.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, this could be one of those drafts where I personally believe there are 20 players who could be good.
That's a shit draft when your best players are 15 and 27.
Yeah.
Well, and 2. Don't forget number 2.
It's okay, yeah.
This whole NBA is crazy. This draft means a lot to a lot of these teams, all because of the free agency.
No, you're right. It's got to move so fast.
So fast.
But why would anybody? I wanted to make a point though. Why would anybody? I don't know why anyone would want Chris Paul. Never wins, no matter who he's with. And why would anyone want Westbrook? Anyone. Everywhere he goes, he's with a superstar, and he doesn't win.
Well, Westbrook could help a team win. His attitude screws him up. That's why he can't win. He don't get along with players and people. So he's a good player, but he can't get along. He thinks he should have the team just like he tried in Oklahoma, and Oklahoma had enough of him and sent them over with Harden. Harden, I think it's just who knows, but Westbrook will fit perfectly with the Knicks because
no way.
Let's just give him the Knicks. Let him go with the Knicks. It will just
no.
Harden,
let him go to Philly.
Harden is really throwing the Brooklyn Nets with Harden to give him Durant to play with Durant again.
I was talking to JP about this. I don't think Durant's going to play this year. I don't think so. I think he'll play and he'll get hurt or he'll suck. I think that injury is way, way too severe to think he's going to come back and be the old Durant. And then what do you have? You have Kyrie, who is, like I said, over and over again, a cancer, an absolute cancer.
Yeah. So whatever they want to try to do in Brooklyn, it'll probably be a waste anyway. You're right. You're going to see a lot of trades. I mean, I think you're going to see a lot tonight. You're going to see a lot of franchises really throw things around because you got 2 days for free agents. You can't discuss nothing. So you got 2 days to discuss it. And then you got 2 days after that to sign. It's going to be nuts. And tonight's draft is all about fitting into pieces. And that's what these teams are going to draft for. And it's incredible how the NBA just won a championship, and now within a month they have to start again.
It's crazy. I told you last week. I was talking. I was on the phone. I'm buying Islanders tickets for the new arena, and it's going to start like this month. Or no, it would have started 3 weeks ago. Will be a year that it's going to start the new arena, and they have to fit a season in between that. It's nuts. It's nuts.
It's crazy. Okay, JP, who's your first pick? You got 5 minutes.
Yeah, you got 5 minutes. We're going to go a little early because I want to watch this. So, JP, I'm going to let you have the last 5 minutes. Talk.
I'm right now thinking about who I think is going to make a trade. That's what I'm thinking about here. I already made a prediction last night. That Edwards is going number 1, but he will never play in Minnesota. That's my prediction. He will go number 1, but it will not be for Minnesota. I think somebody pulls the trigger with him at the last minute.
All right. And you know what? I agree with you with the pick. and I'm going to agree with you with the trade too. I think he's going number 1, but I really think Minnesota's going to trade down, and it don't surprise me if the Bulls slip something in there and go up there and grab him.
I don't think the Bulls.
The Bulls.
I really think if anybody, I can tell you the Knicks are the most driven to do it because I think they're willing to. They're going to do it because I've heard. And it's funny. A friend of mine said to me, "The Knicks aren't done today." Pushing. A friend of mine said to me this morning, "The Knicks are not done. They're going to pull something tonight to shock some people because the Knicks are making a statement tonight. If they're trying to make a statement tonight that they think they're going to be back, then they're bringing New York back."
We saw that trade today. They traded their draft picks to move up to number 21 or 23.
23.
Why would they do that? Why would they do that? Because the 23 is better than 27. So the 23 and the 8th pick overall to move up to number 1 or number 2. Knicks just made a trade to do this, and they got a lot of salary.
They're trying to do this for free agents too. Like here's the thing: they're looking at who they want to get, and they're trying to say to people, the new GM here. Let me say this about Dolan. I've heard somebody's told me, some people have told me that about Dolan, that he's starting to understand, especially with the idea that the Mets now are turning it around, that it's going to be very tough in New York. There's going to be a lot more pressure on him now.
JP.
To let things be in the Knicks. And I think he's starting to realize that a little bit, that he's got to – one thing I can tell you is that he's got it, that he's realizing he's got to let the basketball people do it like he did with the Rangers. Do the same thing he did with the Rangers and let the basketball people run the show. Because the Knicks are right
Not going to happen. Not going to happen.
It might. I wouldn't say never here.
Let's sign off because I want to go watch the draft.
Yeah, me too.
Awesome job, you two. Thanks, everyone, for watching, for commenting. Jimmy, come by every week. Appreciate it.
Wait, Jimmy. Hold on a minute here before we go.
Yeah,
I love